Well, hi Valerie. Thanks
Hi.
for receiving me here. Very nice office.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I would like to know a little bit more about your startup. When and where everything has started.
So everything has started in my head in France.
Yes.
But the building of it has really started here in the US.
Yes.
So I really got this idea a little more than 2 years ago, and I was in France, and I was wondering how I'm going to do that, because it was obviously for the US market.
Yes.
And then I started to speak with some people, and I decided that I will set up the company in the US, but I thought in New York first. So I went in New York and I spoke with some people, and they told me, you have to go in California. And I said, great, California, I'm going to go to Los Angeles. And
They say no.
yeah, exactly.
Almost there.
They said no, because my background was executive producer. So I used to go to Los Angeles, and I thought, great, I'm going to have nice weather. It's going to be very different from Paris.
Yes.
And then they said, no, you need to go in San Francisco. I said, oh, San Francisco, but
Never
the weather.
thought about it. Why?
Yeah, the weather is not that good. And then I started to commute from France and here, and I must say that I love San Francisco.
Okay, nice.
I'm so happy to be here, much better than in Los Angeles. And so the company, so it's really something that is meant to help kids feeling better and having a place where they can ask questions. Because as a mother, I was, when I would come back from work, my 2 daughters would jump on me and ask me a lot of questions.
Mommy, mommy, mommy.
And exactly, and as a good mother, I would feel very guilty not to do it. So I was not that a good mother, and I thought, oh my God, there got to be something on the web to help them, and where they can go and
also.
help mom,
And
when they can go ask questions, have answers in an appropriate way and a safe thing. And so I really looked for it on the web, and I didn't find anywhere anything. So that's why I've decided to do it.
Okay.
And so I came here, I started to travel here and met some people from the Valley. And everybody liked the idea. And,
This is good sign.
Yeah, and the first guy I met is Neil Sims, who is a search executive at Boyden. And I met him, and he really liked it. And he said, okay, tomorrow you're going to meet Philippe Rosder, who is the founder of Second Life. So I was quite a wow. Exactly. Then I met Philippe, and he said, well, I like you. I like the idea, so I'm going to help you. So
very good.
It was so awesome. So it started really like that. And so Neil and Philippe has introduced me to a lot of people, and a lot of people liked the idea, helped me. And so I commuted for 6 months, like 10 days here, 2 weeks in Paris.
Okay.
And after when I got my visa, I moved here.
Oh, so interesting process, because it's not very easy to get a visa. So you were commuting, going back and forth until...
Yeah, and I got a visa. I got an investor visa because I set up that company. I put some of my own money to start the company, so I got an investor visa. I must say that the interview in the consulate in France was not easy. It was really an interrogation on everything.
Why?
Yeah, and she asked me the question on how do you put that to market? What kind of investor are you going to see? So I just couldn't make it up. I'm glad it was a real thing. And so I moved here, and my daughter came with me. They are 11 and 16. They are very happy here. Hopefully they were speaking English before coming here.
Good.
And and that's been a terrible and very nice story to come here.
Well, it's not something very easy. You have to go through a lot of things, right?
Yeah, you have to go through a lot of things. So luckily I've been working with the US for 20 years before, because...
So you already knew the market,
Yes.
the culture?
Yes, because I was an executive producer, and I had a joint venture with an American production company, and
so
was
nice.
representing some director for the advertising French market. So I already knew that. But what was very different when you arrive here, it's so you have to pass your new driving test with new rules.
Yes.
The healthcare is just a nightmare to understand.
Yeah, I've
So
heard about it, yes.
yeah, and everything like just getting the TV, you know, at home is complicated because nothing resembles that what we used to do in France. Having no credit history is a nightmare also. So it takes a bit of time too. It's very different. Yeah.
Yes.
The inspiration is clearly my daughters, because I was coming back home and they were asking me a lot of questions. So I thought there got to be a place really where the kids can go and ask questions in a safe environment and get the answer in an appropriate way. Because as a mother, I was feeling guilty not to take the time to do the research, to answer them, and I would have loved to encourage their curiosity. So I created that platform that is called TBQE, the best question ever. And it's a platform where the kids can ask questions to the other kids. So it's a peers to peers. They take a picture, they wonder something, they upload a picture to illustrate their question, and the other kids answer. So it's a bit like a mix between Quora and Twitter, because you ask questions about topics, but you follow people. And then the other, working at that, I also, and given my background as working for 20 years in advertising, I know that one of the major pain of the brands is to be able to reach twins and teens. So I thought that was a very good opportunity to get them together. So making a company out of it by making money through the brands, by enabling them to connect with the twins and teens, but allowing them only on the good way, only doing good things for kids and helping kids. No way to sell to do sponsors about things with sugar or non-healthy food or things like that. We're going to be very picky on the brand that will be allowed to participate in that platform and to kind of play with the kids. Because the principle is that brands will sponsor contests on a theme that has something to do with the brand. So and the kids can organize themselves by team to participate, to try to ask the best question ever and the best answer. And the one who win, we will ready a meaningful prize for them. So for example, take an example. We take a sports team and the kids will ask questions. We will tell the kids, okay, ask question and answers about soccer, for example. And it's sponsored by the soccer team. And the one who will win the best question and the best answer can train with one of the celebrity of the game, of the players of that team. So that's very attractive for kids, and that push them also to do some exercise and to show what is good for them, rather than sitting in front of TV.
You were saying that you have a background in advertising, so
yeah.
How was to make this transition from advertising to tech field? I have a background in advertising as well.
So I have a background in advertising. My role was executive producer, and I had my own production company. And the role of an executing producer is really to make things happen, is to solve problems. So what I really like in having new challenges and put team together to make it work. So it's not the same thing, but it's not that far, because when you work in film production, you have a lot of special effects and things like that use computer as well. So I was quite familiar already with 3Ds or environment and special effects environment. And it's just putting the right team together to make it work. So to me, it's really the same process than putting the right team together to make a film.
And how was to build your team? How did you build your team here in the US?
So I commuted, and thanks to the first people I met, like I mentioned, Neil Sims and Philip Rosedale, and after a bunch of other, I met a lot of people, and a lot of people loved the idea. So I must say it was not that complicated to put a team together. It was even pretty easy, and I am so fortunate because the team that is working with me is awesome.
And where did you meet them? Like, there was some sort of coincidence how things happen, or it was all natural?
It's much more introductions. So people that I met, I always told them what I need, and they say, oh, but I know that guy, or I know this woman, or so I will make an intro to you, and you'll see how it goes.
So it was networking and being open?
It was, yes, it was really networking. I mean, everything I have done here, it's thanks to networking. And it's so easy to do networking here in the Bay Area. I was really amazed because in Paris, that's something you don't have. You do networking, but you... so it's not networking in the sense of helping people. What is really amazing here is that people are really willing and dedicated to help the others without waiting for the same thing. So they don't expect you to help them. They just help you for the sake and for the pleasure of helping you. And they don't wait for you necessarily to help them right now or later. It's like a virtuous circle when everybody helps everybody. So you know that if you help someone, at some point someone will help you, but it might not be the one that you have helped. And that's really a culture that we don't see at all in Paris. In Paris, if someone helps you, then you better help him or her back pretty quickly. You like owe him or her something, which is not the case at all here. So that's amazing.
Yeah, so good to know. When someone goes to France, you have to know that.
You have to know that. Don't expect that they will help you just for the pleasure of helping you. That's not what they do.
And do you have any advice for someone that is just arriving in the US and needs to start their networking?
Well, I would say there are so many networking. You go on Meetup, and you look at the subject that you are interested to, and then you start to go to different meetup and to mingle, and you will at some point meet some people that will meet other people and talk to as many people as you know. If you are a woman, I recommend strongly going to Women 2.0. Going to there is Tech Women also. I don't know them very well, but there is Watermark, which might be a bit more corporate than entrepreneurship, but you meet really a lot of awesome women. So if you are women, go definitely in the women networking because they really want to help women.
This is good tip. And about being a woman, like in the tech world, being an entrepreneur, do you think there are any challenges that you face for being a woman?
Sure. You know that only 3% of the women, of the company owned by women, are backed up by VCs. So 3% is really, really little. So yeah, we are challenged every day, I think, and it's probably even unconscious for the men. But I think, as soon as you walk in the room and you're a woman and you pitch a guy, they just don't react exactly the same that if you are a man. On the other way, sometimes it might give you good thing because you maybe they remember you much more than if you're a man.
Like easier, yes.
Yeah, if you meet them in a networking or that, it's easier that they remember you because they met like 2 women or 1 woman and 50 men. Yes. So that can help. And so certainly, I must say though that I've always worked surrounded by men because being already in a film industry, it's only men. So that's not something I really feel. So it certainly happens, but I don't pay too much attention to that.
Yes.
I don't feel it really.
And does Sorta Lab now has an investment, or are you fundraising? Did you go through a process of fundraising, something like this?
Yes. So I've raised some money from angels.
Good.
Basically angel. And let me think. 1 woman. My first investor was a woman, so really willing to help women.
Very nice.
And 2 men. And now I'm in the process of raising another round. So it was, and I'm even almost most important in the process of getting first clients. And so probably, so first client for now I'm giving it for free, but to show to prove of the concept. Yes. But probably by 3 months or 4 months we'll be able to get some revenue. So I need both of them, a bit of revenue and a bit of fundraising.
And what were the challenges to find fundraising? That's
extremely difficult, I must say. And I have, and though I have the chance to have a good network and to be introduced pretty easily to investors, but it's, I mean, they have so many people that come to them and ask for money that you have to be very different. And I must say also that I'm much better trying to get revenue than getting funding, because that's something I've done all my life. So selling something to a client is easy because it's obvious what they're going to get out of it. Fundraising is a process that you need to be trained for, I guess. And I'm starting that like 1 year ago, not even. So I don't think I'm optimum yet in fundraising, but I may become. Yeah, I'm learning. Exactly, I'm learning. Yeah.
So you think that acquiring the first customer, it's not even more important, but even easier than finding your first angel, maybe?
No, the first angel were okay. It's now that we need a bit more that is... So the first angel, what happened actually is that I met people and I tell them my story and they say, oh, we want to invest in your company because that seems really awesome. So that was pretty easy in the beginning. But so I didn't need to knock on the door and ask, and so that's really what happened in the free thirst. Now I need to knock on the door and ask, and that's much more difficult.
Yes. And how excited or anxious are you about your company? How do you feel about it? Like, how does it feel to be an entrepreneur?
I've been an entrepreneur all my life, so I've lived all my life in the idea that maybe in 6 months the company won't work again. So that's just something, at some point you get used to it, But I'm very confident in this company because so many people like the idea and believe in the idea. And when I see the reaction of the first client I have approached, they really like it, and they really more than like it. They feel that they miss that tool for their marketing and strategy. So I'm extremely confident.
Oh, this is good. And tell me a little bit about this place that we are.
So this is called the Hatch Soma, and that's a co-working space that is very nice. If you want to come, you call Suzanne Pilosi. You contact me and I will tell her she's awesome. She's taking care very good of all the tenants, though there must be, I don't know, maybe 200 tenants. There are a lot of people. So the space is on Harrison between 2nd and 3rd, and it's very convenient because you have everything that you need, and you don't need to take time getting your internet, your phone, the cleaning, the kitchen, the coffee, coffee.
You already had to do that with your home. You don't need to do it with your office.
Yes, exactly. So nothing with the office. Everything is taken care of. You have conference rooms. No, I love this place. Actually, that's the first place I went, and I went to another one. They have 2 places, this one and one on 2nd Street. I started with the other one, and I moved here because of my dog. Because the other one is not taking dog, and this one allows dogs. I moved to this one because of a dog,
very nice.
But I'm very happy here. That's very convenient, and it's very close to the financial district, very close to 280. So you just take the ramp and go to Palo Alto or San Mateo or wherever. So it's very nice.
And does it help you to meet other entrepreneurs being in this kind of space? Or you guys are so focused here, you don't even have time to...
No, so that's the only place where I have trouble to do networking, because I'm almost never available. They do a lot of happy hour, like at 5 or 7, and I'm very often not here. So, but you can definitely take advantage of meeting the other people, and you can also go and see Susan and say, okay, I'd like to meet someone that does that, and then she will put you in contact with the people that can be in the same field or help you on something. That's easy to do.
Oh, great. And what kind of advice would you give to entrepreneurs that are foreigners, that they are starting, around France, Brazil, maybe, overseas, and they want to come to the US?
So the most difficult thing, obviously, is the visa.
So be careful. Yes.
So be careful. I would say just come and start to see if the PLS is good for you. So don't just not decide to move. Come and spend. You're allowed to spend 3 months. So you come, you spend like 2 months, 2.5 months, and you mingle. In the 2.5 months, you can already meet a lot of people and get a good idea if what you want to do is doable or not. So I would advise do that. Come here, speak with people, mingle with people, and see if it's a good idea or not to come here. And if you are an engineer, then you have no problem finding a good engineer, finding a job here. If it's
For
what
sure.
you want. Yeah, that's easy. So you can get your job, you can get your visa, and after you can be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And talking about, employees, what you're fighting against, for example, Google, Facebook, when it matters about hiring an engineer.
Yeah.
How do you see this,
So engineers probably the most difficult because you're right, they were to Google and Facebook. Though a lot of people here have a soul of entrepreneurs, and they're much more interesting in working on something that's going to be their thing, and where they really can work around, make it,
Yes.
than just being the 1,000th employee or engineer in Google or in Apple.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's what makes very much the big difference. But engineer is very hard to find here. That's for sure.
So you have, if you're not an engineer as well, besides working with visa issues, you have to remember.
You have to remember. You have to
Engineers also, yes.
So if you have enough money to fund your company at the beginning and show the U.S. government that you're bringing your own money and you have spent already the money and that's a real company, you shouldn't have any problem to get an investor visa. If you have no money, that must be tough.
Yes.
And you're not, then you have to find a job here, but so you must be attractive enough so somebody hire you. And so certainly you cannot start by just coming and being an entrepreneur. You probably have to do through another step.
Interesting.
Or if you have your company, there is also, if you have your company in your own country that is existing, you can be just a representative of your company here in the country, which is again different. So you really need to go a lawyer and talk with a specialized lawyer. There are a lot of them, a lot of good of them, and they'll know because it's very complicated. Okay, never give up. When someone says no to something you asked him or her, then don't insist, but try to get something else. If you manage well, you can almost always get something out of someone. So when you go and meet someone, just think that even if it's just a contact, but don't leave meeting someone with having a contact with someone else, with the promise of introduction to someone else, because everybody that you meet most of the time know a lot of people. So they must be able to make an introduction to you to somebody else. So if you go and see them and ask for money, for example, raise money, and they say no, at least you're happy when they say no, because the worst thing is then they ask you to come twice and then they never answer after. Then you start being hope, and so the good people are the one who say no very quickly. Just remember that. But so if they say no, then just ask for an intro to someone else, to an entrepreneur that can help to a journalist, to another investor, to whatever, but you must get out, you must get something of everybody you meet. And it's really easily doable.
Okay.
So that's my advice.